My friends, welcome. It is April the 10th, and this is the Guitar Show. Welcome, I'm Eric Andreas, your Guitar Sage friends. We're going to have a blast today. I'm going to be answering your questions in real time on Facebook and YouTube. We also have Instagram in the house, but of course I won't be answering questions there because I cannot see the screen. So, if you want your questions answered, either facebook.com/YourGuitarSage or YourGuitarSage or youtube.com/YourGuitarSage. And this is how it works. If you've never joined us for one of these before, for an hour and a half, I literally answer all your questions. So it's just a great way for you to get answers very quickly. I'll also point you to videos, so if it's an explanation that takes a little longer to explain than what I can do just here, or if I can't thoroughly explain it in the amount of time, then I'm going to point you to a video that I already have because I've created thousands of videos for you for free that you can get. So that's what it's all about here. And also two other things. You're going to hear me talk about it a lot. The free course, literally you could become a member of the Unstoppable Guitar System today. The first 30 lessons I teach all my students. If you came to visit me here in Nashville, we're going to do those first 30. I don't care what genre that you want to play. I mean, I do care, but what I'm saying is it doesn't matter what genre that you're going to play. These lessons are the most important lessons that every guitar player should do, ever. Okay? So that is yours for free. The only thing you got to do is go there, YourGuitarSage.com/30, or click the link that's in the description of this video. Cool? Wow, we got a donation already straight out of the gate. My friends, thank you so much. That's a third thing, actually, that I need to tell you. It's a second, and then I'll add the third here in a minute, is that if you like these broadcasts, if you get something out of them, if I'm helping you, if you like the free course, if you like the Unstoppable Guitar System, or you like my darn hair, what you can do is you can donate over at YouTube. Can't do it on Facebook yet. Come on, Facebook. Go to YouTube, and on this video, you're going to see a little smiley face in the lower corner, and then right next to that, a little dollar sign. You can click that, and apparently it's really easy to do. And friends, it goes to the lunch fund, and the boys that are in the other room right now, Mike and Chris, and Jason's also watching there in Florida. Those guys, well, Jason won't get lunch today, but the boys here will. All right, so that's going to the lunch fund, and we truly do that every single time we have one of these live broadcasts. So appreciate that ahead of time. And let's see who actually donated there just now, because that is super cool. BJ, all right, BJ, thank you so much, buddy. BJ and I talk like literally every single day inside the Unstoppable Guitar Systems, and BJ has a great attitude. He's getting things done inside the program. He's learning, he's excited about guitar, and he's got a killer attitude. So BJ, thank you so much for that, my friend. Okay, and the third thing is this. The third thing is we have a post that's on Instagram right now. There it is. There it is. And in order to be up for the running, or to be in the running to win a lifetime membership to the Unstoppable Guitar System /365 and over $500 value, the only thing you need to do is follow me there. And then on this post, you're going to like it and comment. That's all you got to do, right? 5 people enter, you've got a 20% chance of winning. That's how easy it is. And here's the deal. A lot of people go, God, I see 10 people, on that. There's no way I'm going to win. Well, guess what? We do this twice a week, every single week, right? So that's 8 times a month times 12. What's that? 96. Plus, we give away somewhere around 15 for these live broadcasts. And we typically do those once a month, so 15 times 12. You do the math. It's like several hundred chances to win each year. So if you're doing it all the time, chances are you're going to win. Okay? All right, good. That's all I got for you. And then, so now let me talk to you about my buddy, my childhood buddy who slayed the guitar, and this is what he taught me. Okay? So my buddy's name was Martin King, and I went to grade school with him. And he was just a really sweet guy, super cool, real quiet. And we, obviously, the same age, we were in the same grade and everything. And we were in, not really competing bands, but we were both in bands in a fairly small town, maybe 100,000, 200,000. And I loved his band. I was envious of his band. They had a great drummer, great singer. They didn't have a bass player. They had a keyboard player, Willie. And anyhow, fantastic band. My band was cool. I liked it. We were the more popular band, but that's only because we played a lot more, not because I thought we sounded better. Anyhow, all that to say, I like to smell my guts to you guys. But this guy, Martin, I remember we had come out with a single, and it played locally there on the radio. People loved us there and all the rest. And I had this guitar solo. Actually, he came out with his guitar solo first, or this particular song and the guitar solo in it that inspired me. And he had a song, I forgot what the name of it was anymore. Doesn't matter. It's not like you can find it on anywhere. It's just not available. But he had this shredding guitar solo in there, and I was like, dear Lord, that was amazing. And it inspired me. A couple of the licks that he did, it inspired me, and I kind of stole those licks and put them in my own solo. Eric, you stole the licks? Yes, this has been going on since the beginning of time. It's not so much that you're stealing a whole song. You're taking ideas, and ideas are all over the place, okay? That being said, he had a couple licks in there that I was just like, dude, that's so cool. And it's just a really fast player, very clean, all the rest. I was into Yngwie Malmsteen at the time, and so was he and a bunch of other guys. Anyhow, so I finally said to him, I said, Martin, come on over, let's jam sometime. And we did. And I just said, dude, I got to understand, because I was asking him some theory questions and stuff. He didn't seem to know theory. And it turns out that he knew a lot of theory, but Again, he didn't know what he didn't know. I say this all the time. But I said, how do you practice? Like, what do you do? He said, man, I just put the radio on and I play guitar. I said, what do you mean? You just play guitar? And he said, I put the radio on and I find a note or two that works with that song. And then I might find another note and then another note. And I just sit there with the song as it's playing, and I find notes that work, and then I just kind of noodle around with those notes. Well, guess what? Guess what he's doing? He's finding the scale that matches the key of the song as it relates to the chords and everything else. This is called music theory, okay? And so he literally just did everything by ear, just played a chord progression, and then off he went. Now, obviously, at first, he probably didn't sound very good. Nobody sounds good at first on the guitar. Nobody, okay? Nobody sounds good. From Hendrix to Eddie Van Halen, and anybody that says otherwise, it just honestly shows how much they don't know about music. If you talk to any experts, anybody who's been playing for a long time, they're going to say the same thing. Now, they don't get that question asked of them a lot, but bottom line, if you ask any of the guitar teachers here online and say, do you think Hendrix on the very first day was Hendrix? Do you think he played like Hendrix and played amazingly? And they'd think about it a second, they'd go, well, of course not. No, he needed to learn how to play chords. He needed to learn how to play scales and what scale went with what, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Most people that just out of the gate would say, oh yeah, no, he was Hendrix. They just aren't thinking, okay? Because everybody has to start at zero with anything. Learning a new language, playing a sport, juggling, walking on a tightrope wire, playing guitar, does not matter. We all started at zero. Walking, talking, eating, pooping, the whole 9 yards. Get this into your head and it will help you in the times of frustration on the guitar when you're getting frustrated, because that just means that you're trying to do too much and you've got to do it more step by step. Okay, that's what that whole free program's about. Anyhow, my friend Martin King just did this. He played the radio. We'll find out what key it's in. He didn't probably know anything about key, just knew that this note sounded good. And literally, that is probably, if you had one skill on the guitar, that would probably be the number one skill that is going to translate to people liking what it is that you do, is having a good ear and being able to just listen to something and playing, bar none. More than chords, more than scales, more than theory, more than anything. If you can do that, your everything that you stack on top of that is just going to further create a monster guitar player. But if you don't have a very good ear, you're going to be lost, okay? So that's my childhood buddy, Martin King. Martin, if you're listening, you're out there, or if you hear this eventually, then dude, I hope you're doing well, and I loved your playing. And I don't know if Martin plays anymore. We last time I saw Martin was maybe 15 years ago. He came through Nashville here, and we talked about guitar, and he changed his whole mindset, the way he plays and what have you. Not so much the ear thing, but was listening to different types of music. So yeah, there you go. All right, friends, so let's get to some questions today, and we're going to start on Facebook here, only because I got blocked for an amazing video that I had for you guys today, and I'm a little bit miffed at YouTube, so there you go. So screw you, YouTube! Not really. I understand. You guys have rules. I just don't like them, and I don't like that you guys focus on us folks that are putting out good content. So there you go. I said it. So let's start over on Facebook, and then we'll head over to YouTube. So I'm taking questions. Instagram, you know where to go. Facebook or YouTube / YourGuitarSage. Okay, Jeff is waiting at the doctor's office. I love that. Good. Well, you're being productive then, and that's a good thing. All right, not many questions here on Facebook. Let me refresh here, because sometimes we can have some issues. Okay. Oh, here you go. When I noodle, that's all I do is put together what sounds good. I have no clue of what the key is, etc. That's a good thing. Roddy, it's a better thing than just starting with music theory and just trying to assemble things like that, in my opinion. If your ear is there, then you could have a guitar tuned incorrectly, or it could be down a half step. It could be, the track could be a half step or a whole step. It doesn't matter what it is. You're going to be able to sit there with the guitar and figure things out. So it is a good thing. If you're only doing that, then you're limiting yourself for sure. But if you just had that, I would say that's the number one thing before reading music, unless you're a pit musician like in the orchestra. Those guys typically don't know how to improvise very well, and they're not really creators. They're more readers, but they're excellent performers, and they can read really well. Sorry if you're a pit performer, but that's just the truth. If you lined up 1,000 pit performers and 1,000 guys who didn't know how to read music, chances are the folks that know how to read music are going to have less of an ear for creativity than those folks that are just doing what Roddy's saying here, which is just noodling, just coming up with stuff, okay? All right. All right, cool. That was a great question. Good morning, Rick. How are you doing, sir? Okay, beautiful. Thanks, man. I have a question. Could you please show us a question answers blues lick, minor and major scales? Pierre. So let's do, what we're talking about, and so what Pierre is saying here, he's talking about call and response. Pierre, I have videos for this on YouTube. Search YourGuitarSage call and response or YourGuitarSage minimalistic blues. Similar material, but call and response is going to be more accurate to what you're asking for here. So the idea of call and response is like this, okay? Let me get a nice tone here, by the way. This guitar, if you're liking this guitar, by the way, this is the Gretsch Electromatic Jet, and this is Chris. This is Chris's guitar, who's manning the board right now, all the zooms and all that stuff. It's his guitar. He brought it today, and I said, ooh, can I play that? And he said, yeah. So let me get a nice tone here. So let's say we're doing something like this. So call and response, I did that with my little looper pedal, by the way. And so call and response is when one person says something and the other person responds. Think about it simply as this. What's your name? My name's Pierre. Great, Pierre. Where are you from? I'm from blank. That's call and response when we're talking. Guitar is the same way. One person does something, somebody else answers it, essentially in a different phrase or something that possibly might be similar. So think about this. Here's guitar 1. Hold on here. 2, 3, 4. Here would be guitar 2. Here would be guitar 1 again. Now, that's a 12-bar blues progression, so you have kind of like A, B, A, so, or player 1, player 2, player 1, depending on how many measures you do. But essentially, Pierre, what call and response is one person plays something, and then the other person goes. So it's just kind of taking turns. Some people call it playing fourths or eighths, which is like playing four measures or 8 measures or 2 measures, however you want to do it. And it's a great way to get yourself and another person to phrase correctly, because you only have a small amount of space to say what it is that you want to say. So you're not having this impulsive feeling to play through the scales, and you're wondering why it sounds like crap. You just say your thing, and then it's a nice conversation. Have you ever been in a conversation where you're the only guy talking? That's me right now. But you get used to that. But if you're having a conversation with somebody and they're not responding to you, you feel like maybe you have to fill in the spaces, right? And then you're saying dumb stuff. Same thing with playing guitar. If you just have a little thing to say, you say it, get the heck out of Dodge, then you let them talk, and then vice versa. It's a great way to learn chops and to learn phrasing. So on YouTube, if that interests you, search YourGuitarSage call and response. Okay. Logan's noticing this Les Paul. Logan, guess what? Good news, my friend. I'm giving this one away. What? Yes, this right here. So let me just tell you just really quickly about this, Logan. This is a Gibson Les Paul Dark Fire, okay? Isn't it beautiful? I know. It's literally the most beautiful guitar that I own. I've had this for quite some time. In fact, out of all the guitars that I have here, this is the one that I've had the longest. I've done YouTube videos with it, and it is amazing. It's plecked, P-L-E-K, which not many instruments are, and that means that from the factory, they put it on a pleck machine, and with lasers, they determine how low they can put the strings and where the frets are at and everything else so that it can have optimally low action. And and that's what they do. And the plecking also makes sure that the certain frets are all the same height so that there's no issues. And and it has, so it's literally been adjusted by Gibson in that way. Graphite, there's graphite inlays. This has what's called chameleon technology, where basically you can make it sound like humbuckers, single coils, P90s, any combination that you want through these magic switches here. Now check this out. Whoa, have you ever had a switch that does this with these different colors? Yeah. Well, it's not just for colors, okay? It's actually for, check this out, right? Now, what's also cool about this is if I tune the guitar like that, the little pegs move themselves. What? Yeah, because the guitar tunes itself. I know, it's wacky witchcraft stuff. I don't know what's going on with it. But nonetheless, I'm going to be giving this guitar away. It's a first run, meaning the first time they made this thing. Comes in a white case. It says first run. It's like a badass guitar. And I will be giving this away probably, I think, in the next broadcast, or the next big live broadcast that we do. Yeah, okay, so be sticking around for that, eh? Roddy says, musicians don't steal, we acquire. That's right, we borrow. Exactly. Can you explain inversions? Yeah, sure, let's talk about it. So inversions are when we take a chord and we play it in some other way than maybe what we're used to. Technically, you know, a chord, let's take a major chord, it's a 1-3-5 from the major scale. So if we take the major scale, that guitar sound great. By the way, this is on our shop site right now, kit.com/YourGuitarSage. We just put it up. I just asked Chris to because it's such a great sounding guitar, right? Right? I love it. So, an inversion is this. If we were to take, say, like the 1, the 3, and the 5 from the major scale, 1, 3, 5, then we could have a major chord, right? Well, we don't have to assemble chords 1, 3, 5. In fact, when we play a bar chord, we're playing 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. Okay, so it's stacked differently. So that's well, I should say that's a voicing. An inversion is when we take some note other than the 1 and we put it on the bottom of the chord. So technically this is not an inversion and this is not an inversion. These are just different voicings, but a similar thought process here is the way you want to think about this is if we stack 1, 3, 5, right? If we have the 1 on the bottom, it's not an inversion, but if we take the 3 or the 5 and we put it on the bottom, now it becomes an inversion. For instance, here's a C chord, C, E, G, okay? Let's zoom in up on this. We have a C, E, G. Okay, C, E, G. If we have, this is a C, this is an E, this is a G. Hey, Chris, can you zoom in on this, bud? We have a C, E, G, thank you. And typically a C chord is going to start on a C. That's the bass note. Well, it has C, E, G in it. That means we could put a G in the bass. Right there, 3rd fret up from the low E. That's a G. So instead of playing a C chord, we'd play a C/G. So it puts a G in the bass, and it makes that nice big sound. So here's a C, here's a C/G. And if we want to get real fancy, since the chord's made of a C, E, G, we can put an E in the bass. So watch this. Here's a low E. Here's regular C. Here's a C/G. Here's a C/E. Pretty cool, right? Now, those are inversions. And those, I cover those extensively inside the Unstoppable Guitar System. Okay. Oh, friends, yes, thank you, Larry, for doing all caps. If you would, friends, do all caps and a question mark if it's a question to me. Again, all caps, question mark, if it's a question to me. Otherwise, the chances are I'm going to miss it, okay? I need to construct a bridge for DAE chord progression. I hear that the opposite is a good beginning. Like, if a song is How I Love You, then bridge is What If You Hate Me? Would bridge be EAD? Let's think about this for a minute. So I'm imagining that you're saying this metaphorically, right? I'm going to assume you're shaking your head. And so here's the deal. Yes, you could do that, Larry, if you're wanting the tone to sound different. You know, if you play the same chord progression all the time, or in this particular song, and then you have a bridge and you're playing the same chord progression, it's not going to feel like it's going someplace new. So yes, what I like to do for bridges is, if my chord progression is D, if it's D, A, E, then if you're playing that chord progression over and over again, you're going to be used to it starting on that D. So when it goes to a new place, it's probably not going to sound so like, it's not going to sound like you're going to any place in particular, okay? So you want to start the next chord progression on some other chord other than that D if you want it to sound like it's going somewhere. Does that make sense? So it could be EAD, it could be DAE, or it could be AED, just maybe not starting on the D right away. I've never heard what you're talking about, like have it be the opposite, so I can't say that I can't say that I've heard that before. Okay, so Travis Cartwright saying, my low E sounds out of tune when I use a capo. What could the problem be? Travis, when you put a capo on, it's pushing your strings down, and I addressed this in the last, I addressed this yesterday. So if you put the capo on, it's going to bend the string a bit. So what you want to do is you want to adjust your tuning after you put a capo on, or get an adjustable tuner which presses the strings down just the right amount to connect with the fret, but not anything more than that to put it out of tune, etc. Those are the things you want to do: adjustable, capo, and make sure you tune your guitar should you need to if you're using a standard capo. I have all those fun capos, the ones that I really suggest, at the store. Okay, so go to kit.com/YourGuitarSage. There's the link right there for you guys. Okay. I took my tailor into the guitar guy and I was surprised. He said the neck is a little bent and frets need to be filed. It's only 6 months old. My question is that common? Gene. And yes, I have a guitar humidifier. I put the strings in store in the case. Gene, unless you know this guitar guy, I might get a second opinion because there's a small chance that the guy may just be trying to get money. You know, maybe he's desperate for business and he's saying that something needs to be done. And just a little bent and frets need to be filed. It just sounds weird to me. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds weird. If the neck is bent, if it's truly bent, then, and it's not just a matter of a truss rod, then you need a new guitar, or at least a new neck, okay? Because there's ways that you could bend that neck back, but typically when a neck is bent, it wants to stay that way. It's bending that way for a specific reason. So, and the frets need to be filed. It doesn't sound right to me. The guitar probably should be set up. This guitar needs to be set up. I can play it. It goes out of tune, something with a nut. But it's a great playing guitar otherwise, right out of the box. But that doesn't mean that every guitar out of the box is going to be good, obviously. So, Gene, I'd take it to somebody else as well and just say what needs to be done with it specifically. Gene, if you're in the Unstoppable Guitar System, I cover all of these things so you can know specifically, is it the truss rod, or is it the nut, or is it the bridge? What's going on? Is it the frets? Because we cover all that stuff. Oh, Ryan's saying let's do a giveaway of Chris's guitar. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Okay. My low E string sounds out of tune. Okay, we talked about that one, right? Okay. Nice rig, indeed. Okay. Exactly. Musicians pass things on. Do perpetual chords need resolved, or am I talking nonsense? I've never heard of perpetual chord in my life, Roddy, so you're going to have to be perpetual chord progressions. Perpetual means ongoing, from my understanding. Perpetual, never stops. So unless I'm wrong with that definition, but I'm pretty sure that's what perpetual means. So I'm not sure. I've never heard of that expression in my life. So Roddy, if you could drill down and get more specific, let me know. And are you making that phrase up, or if you heard that somewhere? I'm going to have to get a little bit more info. But, you know, a chord progression, I mean, each chord resolves or rests or builds tension into another. So I'm not sure what you mean by that. All right, I'm on YouTube now, and I'm going to get to some questions. You ready? Here we go. So giveaway or nah? Yeah, giveaway. I mean, at this point, anytime I'm live, I'm doing a giveaway. So today it's a lifetime membership to UGS/365. By the way, if anybody is in UGS 365, if you're in the members area, the free members area, then please let folks know only if you've seen some help. You know, if I'm helping you at guitar. If you haven't watched the videos, then you can't be a good testimony. But obviously, if you've watched the video and you're finding yourself getting better, especially very quickly, please let other folks know, because not everybody understands this, right? What's up, Benjamin, Sandro? What's going on? Hello, Georgia, Galveston, beautiful. Texas, okay, nice. All right. Boom. And Scott is singing that Les Paul again, right? All right, cool. All right. Thrash Metal in the house. Thrash Metal, who started it all with the giveaways. Thank you so much, Thrash. We literally had been live for years, and then one day Thrash Metal did that, and then all of a sudden other folks are doing donations for the lunch fund, so thank you so much. Dave Ars, looks like a Gibson Darkfire. Dave Ars knows his guitar, because not a ton of people know about that guitar. It was a what do you call it? A limited run. Everything's limited, but I mean very limited run. Who won yesterday? UGS. Anyone? You're going to have to look at Instagram stories to find out, my friend. I don't memorize the names. There's a lot of names. Darkfire had carbon fiber inlays. Indeed, it does. It's pretty amazing looking. I love that you guys are friends in here. Dave to Brad Miller. What's shaking, my man? So you guys are all buddies in here. Love it. Oh, sweet. Okay, good. Holy crud, Eric. We had friends in a competing band in high school that slayed. I posted their 9th grade talent show of Metallica Orion, which, by the way, is one of my favorite instrumentals, and Seek and Destroy, too. I love it. So fun. I loved that album, those albums. I love that time when Metallica was Metallica. Sorry to offend. That's just one man's opinion. All right. All right, good. Okay. What was the video that got blocked? It was the top 10 AC/DC licks of all times. What? Come on, right? Like, that is like the coolest, that would be the coolest video ever. And yeah, like, what the hell? Likely copyrighted material. Everything is copyrighted material, Dave. Everything is copyrighted anymore. It's not enough that they take the money from the video, now they just take them down. Unbelievable. Come on, guys. What are some cool, fun exercises or applications for the Dorian mode? I'm practicing that today as I follow your video. Climber, if you play something with a minor 7 chord, you can noodle the Dorian a lot. No specific exercises or anything. It's all the same. It's a scale, just like anything else. So all the scale exercises and what have you that I show you, or the sequences like right, or you can do those different sequences like I talk about inside of UGS. But as far as the Dorian mode, it's a sub, or it's a different way to look at the major scale, as are all the modes. It's the 2nd degree of the major scale. So if you play a major scale from 2 to 2, it's the Dorian mode, and that works nicely over the minor 7 chord. What else? It works in blues a lot too. Works really well in blues. In fact, so here's kind of some Dorian right here. That was literally Dorian. I'm bending some, sounds very bluesy, but I specifically tried to stay out of anything blues and just stuck to Dorian there. So you can do a lot of stuff with Dorian. It's not too far off of the minor scale. It's one scale step different. If you can do it, would you recommend recording your solo practice over a chord progression for review? By all means. The more you can record yourself, the better. Because when you're playing, when you're in the moment, it's going to feel better than it actually is. Okay? So you'll want to listen back to it, and you're going to have a more critical ear because you're not in the moment. You're just listening, and you're like, ooh, man, there was a clam, or there was a wrong note bent, or just now I was playing that chord progression in the beginning there, and there was one chord that I played where the phrase that I put over it just totally didn't fit. Sounded like poop, and so it is. and so when I watch back, I mean, I know I don't have to watch it back because I know what I did wrong. I know how I was thinking, but when you do record yourself and you watch it over again, or you listen over it again, it will help a lot. Okay. Eric, for your referral, Eric S, for your referral to Desi, your teaching is top notch. Purple Haze. Do I link the different E pentatonic patterns to knock out that lick, or is it just one lick? Eric, I think you said Eric. Thanks for your referral to Desi. Your teaching is top notch. Oh, thank you so much, Patrick. And Desi's a great guy, great friend of mine. Eric, do I link the different E minor pentatonic patterns to knock out that lick, or is it just one lick? Patrick, I'm not sure what you mean by that. The pentatonic scale is a 5-note scale, and the different patterns can be linked together. Well, they are linked together, you know, one part of the scale is another part of the other scale or the other form, but it's all over the fretboard, right? So, I mean, let's see. I got so I mean that was all over the neck, right? That was 7th, 5th, 3rd position, and then for the solo, he's up at the 12th position, so it's definitely all over the place, okay? Okay. Sweet. Make sure you're leaving those question marks, friends, because if not, I'm not going to see them. Wow. Okay. Wow. Lots of questions, friends. Okay. Sweet. Dear Lord in heaven, there's a lot of them. A lot of folks tuned in today, I'm guessing. Okay, I'm just going to spin all the way to the bottom. I can't sit there and look for where I missed. If you left a question here and I missed it, just go ahead and post it again if you would. Okay, and then also question mark, obviously all caps. That's the way I'm going to see your question better. Okay. Did you pick up anything cool this weekend at the Amigo show? I did not. I always go to that show. I get a little overwhelmed. There's so much there. I almost bought an old school Phase 90, you know, for the whole Van Halen sound. And the guy I was talking to was a pedal expert, and he said, man, he's like, it was like a $300 pedal. And I said, which was probably $20 new. And he said, man, he said, Eric, he says, I'm going to lose $300 here, but I wouldn't get it because it's not the sound you're looking for. And we went on to talk about the whole Eddie sound and stuff that he's doing and what he was doing. Eric, can you briefly explain the technique to play reggae? Hecky Guns. Yeah, so when you're talking about reggae, you're really emphasizing chords. They're thinner chords. It is a sound that's a little bit more clean, right? It's nice to have that spring reverb type sound. There's an emphasis on a lot of upbeats, you know, like up strums. So like on the upbeat, so like down, up, So when my foot comes up, that's when you hit the chord. Literally, that is 99% of all reggae. So if you can do that, you got it. You get the idea, okay? Lots of, I have some lessons on reggae. I believe in, I know definitely in the Unstop, in UGS, maybe on YouTube as well, I'm not sure. I'm wearing out the first act guitar I bought as a traveler. Is there a travel guitar option you would consider better than others? Have you seen the Kloss guitars? Are they worth the money? So I have several travel guitars. One is a Steinberger Spirit. Just look that up. In fact, Chris, if you would put that on the store, that would be great, because that is a real low-priced guitar. If you've ever seen a Steinberger, it doesn't have a headstock. It stops right here at the nut, like literally that's where it stops. This part, it's not even on the guitar. This to here, and then you tune it right here at the bridge, and that is the whole length of the guitar. So you're cutting out all of this, and you're cutting out all of this. It's made of graphite, so you can keep it in the heat, you can keep it in the cold, you can keep it in the wet, you can keep it in the dry, doesn't matter. It's not gonna bend, it's not gonna have a problem. Even has a tremolo system. Now, the old school Steinbergers from the 80s are supposedly a better built guitar. I should have just gone with that instead of the Spirit, because I'm not 100% happy with the Spirit, but for what I'm doing there, just kind of noodling and stuff in bed or traveling or what have you with it, it's a great guitar. I would suggest that, BJ. There are other travel guitars that just have smaller bodies. Like I have one that's just like a real small body, and the neck is kind of smaller scale, and the whole 9 yards. I bought that for $100 on eBay. So just give it a little search around for some travel guitars. There's so many. There's just so many these days. What exercise would you suggest for me to improve on making my scales sound more melodic? No exercises. What you want to do is you want to get into minimalistic blues, call and response. I have videos for both of those on YouTube. Just search YourGuitarSage minimalistic blues or call and response, and you'll find that. If you're in UGS, you know I have whole courses built upon exactly what you're talking about. Understanding what chords being played and kind of extrapolating some of those notes out of there is going to help. Now, all that being said, I can tell you this stuff, but I promise you that you're going to have to dig in and practice. It's not like I'm going to magically say something and then you're just all of a sudden going to be able to do this. Yes, the concept is there, but you have to work it, okay? If you work it, it'll work for you. All right. Oh, thank you. BJ saying UGS is amazing. I love the free system too. If you're watching this and not on the free system, you are silly. It's true. YourGuitarSage.com/30. The link for this is in the description of the video. Friends, take advantage of the free program. I promise you, it's going to make a world of difference, okay? I'll put the link is in the description of the video. Okay, ton of folks here talking about UGS. Thank you so much for that, my friends. All right. Good stuff. This is why I have to scan, and yeah, here we go. What's the difference between call and response and phrasing? Call and response is the idea of I say something, you respond. Just like in regular talking. If we're just talking about conversation, I say to you, Michael, what's your last name? Oh, it's Gustin. There you go. That's call and response. I play ba-da-ba-da-bum, you play ba-da-ba-da-bum. But we're using phrasing. We're using phrases. We're using phrases is a phrase. How you doing, Michael, is a phrase. So it's a complete idea that stands alone by itself. That's a phrase. And what happens is a lot of times people start noodling and they don't know how to end the phrase. They're like, hey man, I'm Michael and I play guitar and anyhow, I don't know what I'm doing really. I'm just kind of just going on in here and I'm not really sure how to end the phrase. And they're just kind of doing this stream of consciousness thing and they don't say something. They don't say something simple. That's a phrase, you know, as opposed to... Just like, I'm just going all over the fret. No, just say something, shut up, say something, shut up, say something. So that's what you want to do, is you really want to actually say a thing, even if it's just one little thing. And then, wait a minute, wait a second, and then say something else, okay? Climber, thank you so much for posting that. Yes, if you already have exhausted all of the free videos and you really want to get inside the Unstoppable Guitar System, see what it's all about, YourGuitarSage.com/1. All right, good. Is that tuner system available to be installed on a Stratocaster or Gibson exclusive? I've never seen it on a Stratocaster, but that doesn't mean you couldn't have one installed. I'm sure you can install them later on. Tronic, I think, was the name of the company that did that. Any suggestions for a beginner electric guitar that plays lots of different genres around $200? Benjamin, yes. Couple ones. There is an Epiphone Les Paul. It's on my store, kit.com/YourGuitarSage. There's the link. And if we don't have an HSS Strat on there, Chris, a Mexican HSS Strat, let's put one up there, if you would, please. Because Benjamin, that's another one. HSS Fender Stratocaster. They're great because they have a humbucker here and a couple single coils, and it's a great guitar. So we'll make sure to put. I'll have Chris put that up on the website. Okay, cool. Going all the way to the bottom now and going up again. What's the 2 chords 7th when the 1 is dominant? What's the 2 chords 7th when I don't understand that question, Chocolate Randy? If you can phrase it another way, that'd be helpful because I don't know what you're asking there, my friend. Okay, how expensive is UGS? There's many different ways to do it, friend. You just got to check out, go to yourguitarsage.com/UGS right there. You're going to see all the different options. There's monthly, there's buy it lifetime, that sort of thing. Many different options to check out there, okay? Okay, let's talk about nuts, okay? Let's talk about it. Been looking at new guitars. Does the nut width really matter regardless of my fat fingers? I'm guessing I'm not used to layout and my fingers need to adjust. Francisco, unless it's a guitar that just has really specifically a small nut, no, it's really a matter of your hands getting used to things. That's what it is. I could talk a lot about that, but bottom line, it's practice. It just is. You can have a guitar with really wide nut and you're still going to have issues in the beginning. Maybe it's slightly easier, but ultimately it has to do with building synapses in your brain that tell you, hey, the string is this far apart, friend, do that. Okay, but that's a great question. Now, the other day I had Colin Hill here, and he said that he liked a guitar with a slightly wider nut, so that he could finger pick more easily. But it was just so slight, but he found that it helped him out a bit. So there definitely can be, preferences, right? There's definitely preferences, but bottom line, you can get used to a thinner or a smaller nut. Okay. Oh, thank you, Ryan. Anyway, anyone considering UGS 365, it's worth it. You will not run out of lessons, tools, advice, support, or anything. All you need to learn and improve guitar is there. Thank you so much, Ryan. Okay, recently started recording. What's the best mic or amp or straight into interface? There is no best in the world anymore, John. It's either all the best or there's better, right? There are reviews that say, hey, this is better or whatever. So it's what's best for you. That's possible. And there's so many. I can't even begin. I mean, you said mic or amp or straight into an interface. It just depends on what you want. Right now, this is going straight into an interface. You're not hearing anything mic'd except for that mic right there. Everything else, my guitar, this is all straight interface, okay? It's called a Kemper. It's a $2,000 plus interface, if you will. And when I say interface, it's plugged into an interface, but you're talking about going direct, straight, right? Straight into an interface. But I could mic any one of my amps up here too, and you're going to be really happy with that sound too. So it just depends. Really, it has to do with molding what you have and making sure it sounds the way you want it to sound. Is there a movable diminished chord shape as well? Alberto, every chord, every scale, every shape everything on the guitar is movable. So diminished scale, you can move anywhere. Everything's movable. Great. Great question. Okay, spinning to the bottom here. Who was the vocal coach that you recommended previously? Brett. Oh, geez, how have I forgot his name? I literally sit next to him every single morning for breakfast. Every single morning. It's Singing Success. And I'm sorry that his mind has escaped me right now. I'm doing a cleanse and I'm cloudy. Brett Manning. Brett Manning. M-A-N-N-I-N-G. Brett Manning. Singing Success. Dude knows what he's talking about. Check him out. He's here in Nashville, by the way. But I literally have breakfast next to him, one table away from him every day. We eat at a real small place, and there's a few of us that go there every day. Eric, do you have any videos using a Crybaby pedal? Hecky, I'm sure I do. Search YourGuitarSage wah-wah. If I have one, that's where it's going to be at. I don't know if I have a lot of videos on that, but I probably have at least one out there. I'm thinking about learning Chet Atkins. Do you think it would be worth it? I don't know what that means. Learning Chet Atkins. What does that mean? Like he was a guitar player, but are you talking about his style? Do I think it would be worth it? Oh, it's kind of a strange question. I'm not sure what you mean by would it be worth it. I think if you think it would be worth it, it's worth it. I'm not being weird. I'm just being honest here. Like this question is for everybody, Benjamin. It's like, what does that mean, worth it? If it makes you happy, then do it. And if it's healthy, do it. And if it helps the world, then do it. If it doesn't do those three things, then don't do it. I think it would help the world. I think you'd be happier, and I think it's healthy, so do it. Do you know if learning to sing helps control anxiety attacks? Sorry for the off-topic thinking music helps. Do you know if learning to sing helps control anxiety attacks? 100% it helps. I knew this before I went to Tony Robbins, but we did a whole thing about vocalizing, and believe it or not, however you want to describe it, there are different chakras, basically just zones that are either real or they're basically an idea of how the nervous system works. Anyhow, you can look it up, chakras. And there's one in the throat, and all sorts of psychology that you could talk about regarding this, scientists talking about it, but all from different angles. But essentially, your throat chakra is one, and singing, vocalizing. I know people right now. Thank you so much, BJ. Oh, another. All right, thank you, BJ, because my hair. Nice, thanks. But if you ever feel like you don't have the ability to say something, hi, I'm one of those people. Sometimes I have that. Oddly enough, this is kind of my job. So I'm working on it through various techniques. But one of the things is being able to speak and not just talk, but being free. Have you ever met those people that are just free to talk? Tony Robbins is one of them. That guy is just he's like a ninja. He's like a laser beam. And you ever seen those other people who are like, I just don't know really what to say, and they're shy and they're timid and they're beaten down in some ways? That all has to do with anxiety, man. It all has to do with that throat. So like when you start singing, you're getting your physiology and all sorts in alignment more than you would if you didn't do that. So yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Brent, let's get this lunch fun going. Have you had a chance to play with Jimmy Caps? I don't know who Jimmy Caps is, Brent, but thank you so much for the lunch fun. I truly appreciate that. Brent, you'll have to let me know who Jimmy Caps is. Is he here in Nashville? Should he be on the show? That sort of thing. And friends, if you have anybody that you want on the show, let them know. They can get in touch with us through all the many different ways that they can get in touch with us here. And if it works out, we'll have them on the show. All right. Coolio. So yes, Climber, do some singing lessons, or sing. Just sing. You don't need singing lessons. Just sing. Okay? All right. Sweet. Okay. Do I have any videos teaching singing while playing guitar? I do. On YouTube, search Your Guitar Sage Singing Playing or Your Guitar Sage Singing. I'm sure you'll find it. And then I have a whole course inside of UGS about that. But I do have that, what you're talking about there. He's a Hoff session player. I don't know what Hoff means. Have to let me know. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Jonathan's saying, brother, been meaning to tell you thank you for everything. Been at it for about 1.5 years, and I owe a large chunk of my progress with blues to you. Killing it, man. Ah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I love that. Okay. All right. I'm looking for questions, What's the sound that inspires me the most? Amp, guitar. Okay, that's a fantastic question, Guitar Project. The guitar, let's see, this is going to be hard, right? If I had to choose, I would say some sort of humbucker guitar, like a Les Paul, through some sort of rocked out amp, like a Plexi or just a Marshall, an old school Marshall. That's probably, if I had to pick one. Now, with that being said, I have about 70 other sounds that I really, truly love, like a Strat through an old Fender amp. God, I love that sound. It has a whole nother character, right? But if I could only pick one, that's probably what I would pick. Or I'd say neck and neck with that at this point in my life. Now, if you talk to teenager Eric or 20-year-old Eric, I would have said what I just said to you. But at this point in my life, maybe just a little bit more would be a Fender Strat through a Fender amp. I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's my answer, not the Les Paul through the Marshall, because that gets tiring. Whereas you can still play aggressively with a Strat through a Fender amp, and you can play aggressively, you can play cleanly, you can play all different genres, and yeah, okay. Why are G strings such a pain in the butt? They always go out of tune. It's true. G strings are such a pain in the butt because of the intonation of the guitar, because of the nut, because, in fact, in my new guitar, right, the one that is being designed right now, that, dear God, is almost close to finish. Come on, John. It's almost close to finish. This is a little known fact, is that the nut on the guitar is cut inaccurately. If we wanted to have our guitar intonated correctly, it's cut wrong. It has been since the introduction of the nut on the guitar, since the guitar was introduced. It's wrong for the G and the B string. It's a little bit off on some of the other strings as well, but the G and the B specifically. Well, the nut that I'm having installed on my guitar is going to be compensated, meaning that the B and the G are going to be slightly, just hair. You'd be able to visually see it, but it's so small. In fact, you'd have to be, it'll look like the nut from where you're at, but if you really got onto it, you're going to see that it's etched in a little bit. And what this does is it keeps the whole guitar better intonated. So between one half step and another, we have 100 cents. Think about it like $1. From one fret to another is $1 with 100 cents. And a cents in this case is a pitch interval, or a pitch. It's a measuring of pitch in a fine amount. So if you can imagine, 100 cents are from here to here. 100 cents are from here to here. So very fine detail. So what you'll find is that if you intonate the guitar and you look at it on every single fret, if everything is 0 here at the open, when you tune it accurately, and then you start moving up the fretboard, what you'll find is some of them are 1, 2 cents, positive or negative. They go either way. But what you'll find with the B and the G string is that sometimes they're off as much as 3 or 4 or sometimes even 5 cents. Now, it may not seem like a lot to you, but that's 5% of a pitch, okay? So you start getting into a certain area where your ear starts hearing it. And then if the guitar's slightly out of tune, now you're compounding that. So in the new guitar that I'm having built, for you guys and for me, of course. It's going to have a compensated nut. This is something that I've wanted in a guitar for years. My guitar is going to have it, and your mind's going to be blown because it sounds so beautifully in tune. It's not even funny. So yeah, that's something else that I'm going to have in the guitar. Are there exercises to increase the spread between the fingers of your fretting hand? Bruce, yes, I give you those for free inside the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Exercises, dexterity exercise number 1, and it's 24 variations. So you're set for a long time on this. But yes, and it really is a matter of getting your fingers attenuated. You're not really stretching, right? You're increasing the spread because you're increasing your dexterity, not really the length of your hand. I mean, technically, probably a little bit, just minute amount maybe, microscopic, but really what you're doing is you're getting your dexterity better by keeping your thumb in the back of the neck. You're getting better at that, and so you're able to reach frets further without flubbing. Does that make sense? Okay, sweet. Okay, beautiful. Is it better to be a nice guitar with a mediocre amp or a mediocre guitar with a nice amp? If you're talking about just sound, I'm leaning towards a cheaper guitar and a better amp. And here's why. I could have a $300,000 Les Paul, 58, 59, and I could run it through a little pig nose, what we call pig nose amp, or just something tiny, okay? It's only going to be as big as that amp sounds. It's not going to be any bigger. But if you had a not very good sounding guitar, but you had a great amp setup with a big speaker, okay, a 12-inch speaker, you're going to have lots of lows and highs. If you can attenuate that speaker, that amp better, you're going to have a better sound. So 99 times out of 100, I'm going to say a better amp and a mediocre guitar. Okay. Now, if you're just playing the guitar, then obviously just the guitar. But if you're playing through both all the time, very important. Very important to have a good amp. And I've got amps inside of the store, so check that out. Kit.com/YourGuitarSage. Okay. How about you get Larkin Poe to teach slide on UGS? Those gals rock. So many good slide players in Nashville. Who would you pick if you could get anyone? I have a gent in mind already. And in fact, I need to call him back this week because things are crazy. There's a lot of things to do here, and I need to get back with him. But anyhow, yes, I have somebody lined up. But yeah, there's a ton of amazing slide players here in Nashville, a ton of amazing teachers and players in Nashville. So I'm very blessed to be living here. Have I ever played, Erica, have you ever played a Breedlove guitar? I have. I've had several students that had Breedloves, and they're really remarkable guitars. I love them. Jonathan's saying earlier in your guitar days, did you have reference material on your walls by your practice space? What helped remind you of the many things that must be memorized? Jonathan, I didn't. I always loved those posters, but I never did. My walls had Eddie Van Halen and Randy Rhoads and AC/DC, like all these guys. Yeah, so that's what I had. I had my icons. But really, what I did is I don't learn something until I need to learn it, typically. I don't have a need for Mandarin right now. I'm not going to China anytime soon. So I'm not, even though I would seem super smart to do that, why would I learn it if I'm not going to use it? So on the instrument, this is exactly how I teach you inside my courses. I only teach you the stuff that you need today, and then tomorrow I'll teach you that stuff, and the day after that I'll teach you that stuff. There's no need to learn stuff out of order. It's going to make life harder for you, make you frustrated, make you put down the guitar. I want to give you the information as you need it, which is going to make you voracious and constantly learning at the time that you need to learn it and not any time before then. And there's some stuff that I probably won't ever show you because chances are you're never going to use them, and you're going to think you need them because I'm showing them to you. So the way that I learned, Jonathan, is if I learned bar chords, I'm like, God, I need to learn some bar chords now for this song. And so then I would learn bar chords, whatever specific bar chords. And eventually all that became a part of me because I was learning them. I was learning them and I needed them at the time. But if you're learning something and you don't need it, like Mandarin, if you're not in China, then you're going to forget about it. So you've done all the work and you're going to forget about it because you're not using it. Okay. What happens with the strings if you remove the neck from your guitar? Ruben's saying. What happens with the strings? Well, they're going to hang on here and they're going to hang on here, and you're only going to be able to bring your neck so far. I'm not sure what you mean by what happens with the strings. The strings are going to stay there until you cut them off or something. If you can give me more detail what you're asking, Ruben, I'll try to answer that more accurately if I didn't. What do I think of modeling amps? Well, I think they're awesome. That's what you're hearing right now. I won't play what I was going to play. So... there you go, YouTube. Why don't you copyright that one, huh? I just made that up. All right, so I think modeling amps are awesome. I'm using a Kemper profiling amp, and I love them. I've got lots of tube amps sitting. I've got 3 tube amps sitting to the right of me and another one right over here. I haven't turned them on in quite some time because I'm so in love with the Kemper amp. Ah, we need to have some light coming down. It's fantastic. Maybe not on me, but on the Kemper. Love the Kemper amp. Okay. BJ, I do not know Maria Spears. I do not know her. How does your Kemper sound with headphones? Exactly like you guys are hearing it right now. It is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. I've had just about every amp known to man since I was a kid. I don't know how many amps I've owned, how many guitars I've owned. This thing is ridiculous. So if you have the money to buy it, Kemper, K-E-M-P-E-R. No, they're not endorsing me or anything like that. I'd love it if they did. I'd go get another one. But man, run out and go get it. If you've got the money for once, $2,000 plus. But dear Lord, you're never going to need to look back ever. Not for a long time. Okay, coolio. Right. Oh, who would you say is an underrated guitarist? That's a great question. Well, the thing is that if I say them to you, you're probably not gonna know who they even are. But God, there's a lot of them. A lot of guys here in Nashville who you've probably never heard of. Guthrie Trapp is probably he's not underrated at all, but most people don't know him. Everybody knows Slash, and Guthrie could obviously play circles around Slash. I mean, RJ will play circles around Slash. He was here the other day. There's so many great, RJ Ronquillo. He's a beast of a player. He's so tasty. I just love that guy. I mean, there's so many guitar players who are underrated, and tons of them are studio players, again, who you've never heard of before. Let me think about this one for a minute. We probably have to get more specific too, like what specific genre, because I know thousands of guitar players, but tons of them who you've never even heard of. So many. Do you have any tips for palm muting? Karma saying, yeah, I have videos on it. Karma, if you search YourGuitarSage muting. But here's the deal. For palm muting, what the idea of palm muting is, you get this sound, right? So when you're palm muting, you take the fleshy part of your palm here and you put it on the bridge, and depending on how much you're going towards the nut, depends on how percussive it is and how much the actual tone or the notes are muted. So if I'm over here just a little bit, as opposed to not playing at all, right? Not muting at all. Moving towards the nut. Now it's actually going up in pitch. Going back down in pitch. So there's definitely a sweet spot. You just want to experiment with it. That's the only way to do it. It's just experiment. Okay. Because every guitar is different, and every player is different, and all the rest, Have you ever heard Parker Hastings play? He would be a great guest for one of your videos. I have not, Byron. Get in touch with him. Tell him to get in touch with me, and we'll check him out, and we'll see if we'll see it. You know. Hi, EA. This copyright stuff is annoying. Is there a movement, petition, or something to do away with YouTube regulating music tutorials? Team Memphis. Yeah, sure. There's stuff that can be done. I don't know about a petition or movement per se, but I can tell you what my movement is. I ain't going to play the shitty songs. Did I just say that out loud? Yeah, I did. Sure I did. I'm not going to play their stuff. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to limit what I'm doing more and more, and whatever publishers and what have you, and it may be no skin off their nose, except they're making money off of my videos. So screw it. I'm not going to promote their songs anymore. I'm just going to do my stuff and you know, teach theory and teach this sort of stuff. It's really gotten under my skin. I mean, this is, you know, it's ridiculous. I understand it if somebody wants a song to be played in a movie or to be, I mean, here I'm teaching a song. Let's get this straight. Literally had the vice president for Sony call me on the phone and threaten to sue me. And I said, well, number one, well, I won't tell you what I told him, but I said, if anything, you should be paying me, because what I'm doing is I'm getting folks to play your songs, and then they go play it at a prom or they play it on something else, and then you legitimately do get money for it, or it's making your song more popular. Anyhow, with that being said, it's a big messy system filled with computers, guys with ties, and people that don't understand the model of music and exploitation of music. The whole point of music is you want your music exploited. You want it to be out there. If it's not, you're not making any money, nobody cares. So they've kind of missed the boat on this, and you watch. They're shooting themselves in the foot. They're shooting themselves in the foot. They've been doing it for some time. And I mean, trust me, I have songs that are published. My wife is a songwriter here in Nashville. She does this professionally. So I'm quite aware of how all the law works, and I'm quite aware of all the politics and everything else. All that being said, it's messy. It's just messy, and there's a lot of people just grabbing money, and that's what they're trying to do. And just watch what happens. That's all I'm saying. It's not going to be so pretty. What's going to happen? Yep. Check out Brett Papa's channel or Tim Pierce's with Tim, Brett, and Guthrie. Yeah, beast players. All three of those guys. Tim Pierce. I mean, there's a ton of folks that didn't know who Tim Pierce was until he started doing stuff on YouTube. Guy is a freak of nature at guitar. I love that guy. And he's so tasty, and he's so humble, and he's a beast mode. Okay? And so the reason that you have Slash and guys like that, that's fine. I'm not knocking on Slash, but you have Slash or The Edge, or you have whatever, these guys that are so uplifted in the guitar community. It's not that they're amazing guitar players. They're good. They're great guitar players. And it's not that they're bad guitar players, but in comparison to a Guthrie Trapp or Tim Pierce, it's just not comparable. If you're an intelligent person and you're watching and you're saying, okay, well, play this, now play this, now play this, now play this. There's only two of those guys in that mix that are going to be able to do that. The other two are the more famous guitar players who you know and love. And nothing wrong with those guys. I love them. The Edge was my hero for many years until they started getting weird. And then, yeah. Blackface Filtrons, I've got. Are those blackface Filtertrons? I imagine they are. I don't know specifically, but you know, Filtertron is the flavor of Gibson pickups that you'll find in the old 6120s and that sort of thing. And yeah, they're awesome. I love them. They have just an amazing sound that's unlike just about anything else. They sound to me a bit like a P90, like they're crunchy, but they're not so over the top like a humbucker pickup, which I love. I love humbuckers, but I'm just saying they still have this character. They're almost like in between a Strat pickup and a single coil and a humbucker. And I imagine that, I mean, this is definitely humbucker, right? It's got two of them, so they buck the hum, they cancel the noise. So it's essentially it's a humbucker, but it's the way they're winding it and stuff. They got some different stuff that's happening there. Okay. Eric, can you show us how to count the beats on a 5-chord 12-bar turnaround? On a 5-chord, I don't know what you mean by that, a 5-chord 12-bar turnaround. 12-bar And it's not a 12-bar turnaround, it's a 12-bar chord progression. But I can tell you right here, if I play this, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's 12 bars. I did 5, 5, and 2. That's 12. And each bar gets 4 beats. So I think that probably is covering what you're asking there, my friend, right? Okay, so I cannot cover an Eagles song and put on YouTube for my friends without getting sued. Larry, they won't sue you. They won't sue you unless they want to make a big example of you. But I won't teach anything by the Eagles. And there's certain publishers that I will never teach another song for again in my life. Never, never, never. And the list is becoming smaller and smaller. So they don't really sue you per se, but they can strike your channel, they can pull your video down, they can monetize your video, meaning you did all the work, they make all the money, and it just is what it is. It's more than just what it is. I guess what I'm saying is, I don't get overwhelmed with stuff like that. I move on, and I find out other ways to do stuff. So if that means never teaching a song again, I'm fine with that, and let the other guys do that. I'll be teaching other things. Yeah, there is something called a fair use. So somebody's saying here, people have been abusing fair use as the key term in fair use is non-profit. Once a profit is made, it goes on a broadcast. Fair use no longer applies. And Dave R., I don't know specifically what we're talking about there, like in regards to profit, because when they monetize my video, they're making a profit. So I'm not sure, and as far as the whole nonprofit thing, I don't know. I just know that when you're talking about, if that were true, Dave, specifically, see, this is the problem, is that in a university, you can make copies of songs, you can teach and what have you. Do you know anybody who's teaching for free? And I mean truly for free. Don't say Justin, because he's not teaching for free. Nobody's teaching for free. And if you are, you're only doing it for a short time, or you've got some other job that pays you so much that you're teaching for free. Okay? So nobody teaches for free. Who teaches for free, bro? Public school? Nope. Taxes. Nobody teaches for free. So with that being said, there should not even be a fair use law, because nobody teaches for free. There's always a profit being made somewhere. Everybody. So to me, it's ridiculous. But it is what it is. I don't care. I'm not going to sit there and teach songs by somebody who doesn't want me to teach their songs. I'm fine to go on and do something else. I will teach my stuff specifically, and yeah, that's it. I'm not going to let it get me down at all. Guthrie Trap is so down to earth. I saw him playing a little gig in Nashville, and he was just talking to people, hanging out. Had no idea he recorded as much as he did. Yeah, he actually record, and I'm going to have him on the show eventually. I would like to have him on the show, and maybe even teach a course, because he's just a beast. And he actually played guitar for a friend of mine's band years ago, and that's how I met him. And super sweet guy. Yeah, he's just super kind, man. Super cool dude. Yeah, and as far as God, this is a conversation that we're having, isn't it? Copywriting. So there are literally, this is, if you want to know how bad it is, this is the deal. There are people being sued, currently being sued, because a song reminded them of another song. Reminded them. Different melody, different chord progression, different lyrics. But this whole Marvin Gaye thing that happened not too long ago, these folks got sued. Who was it? Oh, God, I forgot the name. It was the guy, white dude, but he doesn't sound white. He had a song. Shoot, amazing song. God, I can't think of it right now. Nonetheless, he got sued because the song reminded them of a Marvin Gaye tune. Nothing had anything to do with the song at all. It just had that vibe. How many songs, dear God, I mean, why don't you just sue ZZ Top for having a song that sounds bluesy? Because they didn't invent the blues, right? It sounds like this or that or the other thing. It's so ridiculous. So there's people getting sued for that. There are people getting sued for chord progressions. Look, dude, there are at least 10 million songs with the same exact chord progression in the same exact key. And several hundred or thousand of them have been published, and you know the songs, all right? Watch the, God, I can't even think of them off the top of my head, but these guys, they play the 1 minor 6 4 5 chord progression over and over again, and they sing all these famous, very famous songs. Same chord progression every single time. Chord progressions cannot be copywritten, but doesn't mean that people can't sue you. I mean, especially in today's world where everything is so litigious and people are suing people and saying that this guy did this and that girl did this, and they have no proof whatsoever, but because everybody's so emotional and triggered, then they've done away with logic, and they just go to emotion. And if the emotion's strong enough, it doesn't matter what the logic is. It's just, that's the way it is. And that's the world we live in right now. And I think it's going to have a backlash. It's going to change. People are going to calm down, and the loudies are going to go away, and the whiners are going to go away. It's just going to happen. It just does. It's survival of the fittest. Technically, you need a synchronized license to do covers. And guess what? YouTube has a synchronization license, and that's what I pay for. That's what everybody pay for, but it's still happening. It's because you've got people who are trying to get blurred lines. Thank you, Robin Thicke. Yes, that was it. Thank you so much, Walter. You hit it right on the head. It was Robin Thicke. Listen to the song that they said that sounded just like. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, you know. Okay. Yep. Not that one. Ed Sheeran's Thinking Out Loud that supposedly sounded like gay. Yeah, it wasn't that. That's not the one I'm thinking of, but yes, you are right. Look at pop songs, Pachelbel Canon, progression. Exactly, it's the same thing. Axis of Awesome. Friends, do yourself a favor. If you want to understand just how much music is borrowed and how it's just a language, dude. I said dude. Any of you said the word dude before? It's just language, man. And so it's become so ridiculous here. After this video, watch Axis of Awesome, or search Axis of Awesome inside of YouTube, and watch these guys do the most famous songs ever in the same exact chord progression, in the same exact key, all the live long day. Then you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. It's all about the money, indeed. Exactly. Yep, you guys are getting it. Many of you are. I refuse to buy any music by EMI or BMI. Sony is next. And what people don't realize is this whole bit where people are boycotting and deciding not to do things. Spotify's in all sorts of trouble now because they are basically suing, I believe it's NSAI, the National Songwriters Association Incorporated, that are basically getting the songwriters to get their fair share of the pie, whereas artists and producers and record labels, they get tons of money, whereas the poor songwriter is becoming extinct because can't make a living, can't make much of a living. There's a few folks that are, but if you're talking about just a basic dude who's writing songs, it's becoming crazy. And what they don't realize is that people are indeed, they're boycotting this stuff, and it's making a big deal, man. Who's been to a movie in the last year in a movie theater? I haven't been to a movie in the movie theater for 5 years now. Now, obviously, we're getting stuff through Netflix and that sort of thing, but the model's changing, and some people are doing it specifically. Now, Vanilla Ice used Under Pressure. He just straight up used the track, and that's not, a little bit of sense. Yeah, that did. He totally used the exact track. That was kind of goofy, right? So should Webster get royalties? Yeah, exactly. Now, there's definitely some rules, and I think the rules should be followed. And so if there's 7 notes played in a row, then technically that would be that song being played. And I think most of us are fine with that sort of bit. You know, monetizing videos and stuff like that, it's a pain in the butt, but just do that then, you know what I mean? Don't take someone's channel down. It's kind of ridiculous, but again, I'm just not gonna, I will change the way that I do things because I don't need them. They don't need me. It's fine. Do you remember the whole flat with vanilla? Yep, totally. So it is what it is. Here's the deal, guys. Don't get overwhelmed by it. It is what it is. This happens with every single genre all the time. It ebbs and flows, and just play the guitar. Like, don't get overwhelmed by this. I'm certainly not, and this is my job, is to teach people how to play stuff. It just is what it is. Don't get overwhelmed with it. Music's meant to be fun, and Metallica Me Too movement. Yeah. You know, here's the deal. Music is meant to be fun. So play your own thing. Just don't post stuff online. I guess that's what they're showing us, is that they don't want anything posted online. So, okay, cool. We won't do that anymore. In the meanwhile, we're going to play all of our stuff. And here's the other thing, is that because all that stuff isn't played online, it gets pushed to the bottom. So when you put a song out that's your own, it gets pushed to the top because that other stuff isn't there competing with it. And that's something that most folks don't get either, especially the uppity ups in the labels. They just don't get the concept. They don't understand it because they're being greedy. So there you go. Okay, friends, a couple things really quickly. YourGuitarSage.com/30. There's no copyrighted material on there. You can use that all day long. And I give it out for free. But if you play a lick, I'm going to sue you. If you end up playing an exercise or a lick out or a chord out of there, I'm going to sue you. I'm kidding. It's all there for you for free. YourGuitarSage.com/30. Check it out. Top 30 lessons I teach all my students. We're also giving away a over $500 value today. It's the Unstoppable Guitar System and everything that's in 365. The only thing you need to do is follow me on Instagram, follow it, leave a comment, and you will be in the running. And then we pick a winner afterwards. You'll see that on Instagram stories afterwards. Was there something else I needed to tell you? I don't think so. I think that's it, friends. All right. Wow. That was a heated little bit there. YourGuitarSage.com/UGS. If you're serious about guitar and you're like, hey man, I like the way this guy teaches, I think I want to check this out. Many options there at UGS. YourGuitarSage.com/UGS. Drink Pepsi, Truman Show. Yeah. Truman Show. It's amazing. Anything else? I don't think so. I think that's it. For everybody who donated today to the lunch fund, thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. And the boys appreciate that as well. They are going to be going out for lunch, not me today, doing a cleanse. So there you go. And that's it. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Great questions, everybody, today. I'm out of here. See ya. Thanks, Chris, for letting me use your guitar.